Maximus Analysis here for November 9th, 2015, and we see that we had a pretty much a buy program or basically a buy come in later on in the day. I'll show you guys basically the 15-minute, and you can kind of really see that things were moving down, and then it just kind of rocketed up after, let's say, 3:15. So with that being said, we want to make sure we're looking at the overall trend here, and we can see that we're below this 50% mark. Yeah, we're below this 50% mark here of 70.80, but it could get there overnight, and we'll see if they're going to gap up or if they're going to continue down. These lows need to hold, especially around the 2070 to 2065 area overnight, but we'll see what happens and what goes on from there. But again, there's don't get overly bearish, because again, we did see that this is a move pretty much mirrored from this move here. Again, this is where we took it from, so it's just keeping things in order. Again, it could be right here, or it could be actually up a little bit higher, but we'll see where it goes from there. And pretty much that's it. So again, you have the sell signal here on the on the daily chart, but again, this is something not to get overly ambitious to see if it's going to be continue down. Now, if they gap up and get back above this 4700, 4720 area, then it's just considered more highs. But it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to actually do anything, because again, remember that a lot of mutual funds did close, and they need stuff to sell into. So we'll see if they pretty much are selling into this additional 1 or 2 days, or they're going to continue to the downside. Now you have, and it doesn't mean that they go all the way down to here or whatever. It's just a matter of saying, like, okay, we just kind of have to see what's going on. We got the YM. YM as well is not even to the measured move yet. I think it got, yep. So it's not there yet, but it's it's kind of, we have this overhead supply. But it's in the smack dab in the middle of it, and that is actually, this red part here is actually 50% of the previous chop. So they stopped dead at it, but that doesn't mean that they discontinue. So again, they gave a sell signal, but again, we want to see it back below 1750 before we start looking at some type of bearish setups. IWM, again, out of all, this is probably the weakest one, and you can see why. Again, it's right at the 50% mark and barely above this excuse me, barely above these September highs. So we'll kind of see where this goes. You also had crude continuing, hugging this 44 level. We'll see where it goes from there. But again, you can see that it's continuing to the downside, and we'll see what's up with that. So price line, gap down, earnings, gap down, and stay down. So we'll see how heavy this is going to be on the NASDAQ. Google gave a sell signal as well, but nothing major. Again, it's not a major at all. Actually, I mean, a break of 1740 would still be like, okay. And Baidu gave a nice sell signal, but it's overbought. But again, just be very careful with just trying to, again, if you're looking for a 1-2 day pullback, again, that's fine. Tesla actually gave a nice bearish engulfing at the 200-day moving average. So you can see that from here, that it pretty much just gave it, and they closed near the low. So we're going to see if they're going to come and fill this gap and potentially get back down to maybe this 185 area. You had Apple. Apple gave some pretty good movements today for intraday movements, but again, until they break down something further, at least a low, which would be back here, 1, maybe 2 lows back, maybe even say 113.75. This is just a high flag for more down upside potential. We make sure we look at the weekly time frame just to make sure we're not missing anything. Now on the weekly time frame, you could say, okay, this is 50%. Maybe we'll see if this gives a weekly sell signal. Now the weekly sell signal for this is 119.61. So just be aware of what where things go. It got down to 120.0. So about 40 cents away from that. So just make sure you're remembering where other time frames are as well. Facebook continued. Just again, it just was good for intraday trade for some shorts, but again, it's until it breaks below at least 105, it's still bullish in every way, shape. And then you had Twitter, which was one of the weirdest patterns I've seen, because earnings was this day. gapped all the way up and never followed through, actually breaking the lows and continuing. So I wouldn't be going long that name just because of how it looks. Fit is just, you know, tight consolidation all over the place, but again, lower highs, higher lows, still in this. Besides this one movement out, it's still there. So again, we just want to really see where this one takes itself. You got LinkedIn, it was up $3, about $4, and that was one of the rare names that was up today because the Dow was down so much, and Netflix actually gave us a sell signal. So we want to see if it's going to be a double top, or these lows are going to basically trump, and maybe it only comes down to, let's say, let's take a midpoint, and let's say we get to around 106.50, and then it comes back up and gives you a higher low. So again, if you're going to play that, you know where your stop is, 116.50, 116.70, but you also know that you got to ensure that you understand that this right now is in this kind of move. Oops, let me change this around to really see where we are within the move. So we're right at nope, we're above the 50%, so they're going to hold that. If they hold at 107.50, that's something to be aware of. But again, they had a big day down, if you want to call it that. Dow was down. Jeez, I'm all over the place. Dow was down as much as 200, but again, it's still, I mean, it's still in a, it's from this historic move up in October, it's still in an uptrend. You just got to respect it. So let's see if we get further breakdown. Let's see if they get back below the 200-day moving average at least, and then we'll take it from there. So take care.